Hey everybody, it's your best friend Drew Geraci, and lo at the long last, it's time for some comics from my spinner rack. Some of them I plucked from my spinner rack, and some I recently purchased at Dave's Comics in Fayetteville, Georgia, uh, to find a home in my spinner rack. So let's get to it. A little bit of DC, a little bit of Marvel, a little bit of indie type stuff. So, Spectre and Deadman, great characters both. By Roy Thomas and Mike Gilbert, Andrew Helfer, and Kevin Maguire. So, total home run. Covered by Hannigan and Giordano. What I like is it has sort of a cross between a Neil Adams and a Gene Colan kind of vibe. And it's really cool. So there you go. You got the unmistakable Kevin Maguire style. And it's not being laid out by Keith Giffen, unusually. Let me see how close this was to... Yep, it came out in 87. You have the same letterer, Bob Lappin, and but no, this is there's no Giffen in this. Andrew Helfer was the editor of the Justice League relaunch in 87. So a lot of great stuff going on here. And meantime, there's an ad with this really cool miniseries that I got recently. And I'll have to review that later. I reviewed one of the issues. So, okay. Infinity Inc. and The Outsiders, who be still my heart. So, there we go, baby. God, his mastery of anatomy and faces is just really, really something else. And he only did, like, a couple years earlier, he did a couple issues like Power Man Iron Fist, or he did a couple covers. And, you know, you had no idea where he was headed. But you could see Adam Hughes was influenced by Kevin Maguire, because Adam Hughes was kind of up and coming, doing the Maze Agency for Kamiko, I think. So, really, look at that. Wow. And here you go, Michael T. Gilbert, creator of Mr. Monster. Co-adapter. This is actually literally taken from adapted for the stories from More Fun Comics 52 through 54 by Jerry Siegel and Bernard Bailey. And so this is an adaptation. And that's one thing Roy Thomas is like, that's his strong suit, is adaptations. But I love it. Like, the Spectre is so over the top, and Michael Gilbert's style is as well, that I think it really works. Now, if you want to buy the issue, then you can compare it to the original story, which is probably reprinted somewhere in an affordable manner. But, yep, here comes the Spectre. Yeah, ooh-wee. Sweet stuff. Okay. From the great to the not so great, Teen Titans. I fell in love with this relaunch. It didn't last very long. It lasted from issue 44 to, I think, 53. And it's mostly because I dug Speedy with the Arrow. I mean, I liked Hawkeye. I like Green Arrow. I just had a thing about Archers. And I love his costume, too. The color of it is. And Mal's pretty cool. Funny enough, in issue 44, he got to wear the exoskeleton of the Guardian, who was created by Simon and Kirby back in the 60s, the 40s, and he got rid of it for some reason. So they gave him this horn that he blows, Gabriel's horn, and he blows it, and he gets a weapon. It's kind of lame. So you got Robin, Wonder Girl, and Kid Flash. And I always loved the colors of Kid Flash too. And Harley Quinn. Well. Two-Face, don't shoot. She's my daughter. I must protect her. Wrong. She's a Titan. I must kill her. So she's been going around. Her name until this issue was called The Joker's Daughter. That was her. Here we go. Bob Rozakis, who's plotting the story, and Jose Delbo and Vince Coletta on the art, and Jerry Sherp is doing the colors. And he figured that was Joker's daughter, but it turns out... I'm out of practice. Daddy, me? I can't be your father. I have no daughter. Well, Maury Povich shows up. You are the father. So she's just talking about her mom and all this stuff, and her name is Duella. I don't know if I've heard anybody else with the name Duella, but it's to go with dual. So it's actually interesting if you've read the previous issues. If you're coming into this cold, it's off-putting, but yeah, I love that there. The Bumblebee. I love the Bumblebee. I was kind of hoping they could use her in the new Teen Titans with Perez and Wolfman, because the costume's great. And what's interesting too is there was a woman, it was African American woman. I think her name was Bumblebee, who was in one of the very short-lived skywalled black and white magazines. And I almost wonder if it was like a litigious thing that they couldn't continue. But then again, if a book back then went out of circulation, the company goes under. It's not like Bumblebee was setting, sales records. But I think, I don't know, possibly swiped. Don Newton art. Oh my gosh, Don Newton. He died very young. He was a superstar. He even has a Batman collection dedicated to him, Legends of the Dark Knight by Don Newton. And he died really young. And it's a shame. He was going to be huge. And yet it also be have his own style. Very unique. So she's like bubbles. Yeah, it's a bunch of nonsense, but who cares? Who cares? I love this. This is the funny. Okay. This is so weird. I gotta go back. Okay, go back here. Aqualad he's in a tank. He's recovering from something or other. Okay, there he is right there. He's been zonked for hours. The way he's using up that water, he must be getting better. At the end, they're like, oh, how come nobody's refilled Aqualad's water tank? What do you mean? Nobody told us we had to do that. Oh, here comes the Harlequin. That's her new costume. But it's so funny. It's like, you dunderheads. So this is really cool too. I found this in the $2 box. It is NASCAR Legends with Bill Elliott, who grew up not too far from here in Georgia. His name was Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. And it is actually by Herb Trimpe. It's really cool. And I'm not much of a NASCAR fan, but I do. My in-laws are all over it. And when my sister-in-law and her husband have a Daytona 500 party, it's like this big potluck kind of thing. And, Gary ends up making tons of barbecue. And it's just really great. But this is script and art by Herb Trimpe, so who knew he was a NASCAR fan? And the story essentially is by Steve Wade, but, I guess they worked together on it. And this was published by Vortex Comics Incorporated. But it doesn't seem, yeah, it is. Look at that. It's the same Vortex that did Mr. A, or no, Mr. X from Dean Motor. And it's some really great late Trimpe stuff. I mean, you have a lot of text, but that's because it's a bio. So it feels, if you're in the NASCAR, or if you know somebody's at the NASCAR, I mean, my wife's eyes popped when she saw this because she doesn't read comics, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Bill Elliott!" Now, you know what? I've covered Guardians of the Galaxy before, and I may end up getting this series. They have them in Epic collections now, but it stands the test of time. The first year or so where Valentino's doing the writing and art, there's some issues where he's totally cheating. He's banging out 3 pages a day and all that. Then he had other issues where he did really great stuff. So, but that's the life of a monthly writer creator. And you got Dormammu. I just got this mostly because of Dormammu. And this is the guys who took over after Valentino left and to join the other Image Boys. And it's Mike Gallagher is the writer, Kevin West, Steve Montano are the art team, and Craig Anderson's the editor. Beautiful stuff here. Really, really cool. So, and this Yellow Jacket, she is Rita something or other from, I can't remember. She was actually in Avengers number 271. She was a female Yellow Jacket. She stole the costume and she could shrink, and somehow during a big crossover she got stuck with the Guardians of the Galaxy, so she was a 20th century person and a 30th century person. So I liked that she had that different specific I mean perspective. So this guy with the beard, his name is Hollywood, and he is Wonder Man, who is immortal. And I like that angle that you got the Phoenix as a guy. Really nice stuff there. Kevin West is really doing some sweet stuff. I think I can't remember if he did. He did the last issue of the Captain America story that Kevin Maguire started. But I'm digging on this. He's got all the old, that's such a beautiful shot there. This is so lame. It's like, how many? This is back in photostats. They didn't really have, not everybody had Adobe Illustrator, but this is like a 12th generation, enlargement of that face. Couldn't they just put another face on there? I don't know. And here's Hollywood. Dr. Doom, or is he? Meaning Rancor, who is the descendant of Wolverine. And Cosmic Ghost Rider, really cool guy. And this guy shows up. He showed up in the third Guardians of the Galaxy. And in this case, he was Sorcerer Supreme. And let me see what else. Let's get to a great book by Pacific Comics. Pacific was a publisher, and they were a comics distributor. Now, with that and what was the other one? Capital Comics. The problem was they started off, they did their own comics, which is cool, but had they both grown substantially, like let's say like they'd be like a number 3 publisher or whatever, there would be a sort of a, I'm trying to think of the word. It is a conflict of interest. In other words, if Pacific Comics, they might have favoritism about how many copies of Sunrunners you'd get versus how many issues of, US 1 by Marvel would come out. So, but it never came to that. We did get some great indie books, though. Roger McKenzie, who did lots of issues of Daredevil and helped a young Frank Miller in the first year and a half. Beautiful colors. And this is Pat Broderick, who I came to know first as the artist from Captain Marvel. He did like half a year, maybe a little more of Captain Marvel. No, excuse me. He did quite a bit, like the end of the original Doug Mensch Marvel, mid-70s Captain Marvel, the Kree guy. And then he moved over to Micronauts and Firestorm and just got more and more incredible. Look at that layout. This is all pencil, everybody. This is 40-some years ago. 40-some years ago. And I love the texture on the elephants. And this guy is part elephant. I like I love when lettering balloons have slightly different choppy shapes that go with suggest a grumbly voice. And hang on a second. They also have an android who is looking for love in all the wrong places. So, and here's your Scooter by Durapods. Ache for you. I made a dreadful error. Hold me, precious. It's so silly, but it's sweet. I love that helmet on him. It's more like a, it looks almost like Cyclops, but they cover him with butter, popcorn butter. And really cool stuff happens. It only lasted like maybe 6 issues. I could be wrong, but I really, really recommend it. Just if you're a fan of Pat Broderick or just playing cool stories, indie stories, this is wild. So there you go. Okay, 5. Tell me what you think. Did you like Sunrunner? Were you around when PC Comics was coming out with a bunch of cool books? Did you read any of the revival of the Guardians of the Galaxy by Valentino and friends? And did you even know this existed? And were you into the Teen Titans revival? Even though it was very mediocre, it filled a place. I guess I was missing a Marvel comic that month, so I just got into Teen Titans because it was a teen book. And what do you think of the Spectre and Deadman? Please leave comments below. And I'll be back before you know it. And thanks for hanging around. I know I've been away for a while. Take care, everybody. Bye.